right, we're going to continue with our media availabilities here at Michigan International Speedway. We are joined by Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, who is looking for his first win here at Michigan. We will go straight to questions for Chase. If you please raise your hand, we'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start up here with Cameron and then go to Matt.
Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. Chase, you come into Sunday 40 points outside the playoffs. How do you go about assessing the situation going into Sunday? Do you try to maximize stage points, or do you guys have to go all in and go for the race win now? Do you feel like you're still in a place where you can maximize on points?
My stance has been the same since I got back, and I think we need to win. So, and like I've said, 1,000 times since I've been back, I think gaining a lot of points and contending for wins is very much one and the same. It's not coincidence that the guys that are high up in points have race wins, but they're also, leading the regular season thing or whatever it's called, too. Like, those two things go hand in hand. So if you're gaining a lot of points, you're probably going to have a shot to win. And if you're not, then you're probably not going to have a shot to win, So I think those are one and the same.
We'll go to Matt and then Jeff.
Over here. Matt Weaver, Sportsnut. You've kind of beat the drum from day one with this car that despite all the talk of aero or mechanical grip or whatever, that really these cars are just super tightly controlled and everyone's running the same time. So I'm curious, I started thinking about IndyCar, and IndyCar is kind of similar in that it's a spec car, but the damper program is opened up and you can do whatever there. Is there a part of this car that you think we could open up that would maybe kind of add some flavor to the racing and to the behind-the-scenes stuff?
That's a great question. Honestly, I'm not familiar with the IndyCar rules at all. I know that they were kind of first to the spec car thing, and I had heard that what we were doing was more in line with what they had going on or what they had been having going on. But I don't know. I don't know what you open up. I think this is really what NASCAR, as a sanctioning body wants, that they want a lot of control over the cars. And, they want to have part suppliers and have the teams buy parts instead of building them, and I think the thought was it was going to save a lot of money, and I'll let other people answer whether or not that's true. But, I think that I don't know what you open up to make it better or worse. I'm not really sure. But I do know this: the cars are very much alike. It's so funny. Like, every week, we do our post-race debriefs, and the engine shop comes up with this really nice report for us to look at, while we're talking through our race, and it kind of splits up like part throttle, full throttle, closed throttle, and like the four of our guys are within like 1% of each category, and when those things are the same, it's just going to be really hard to be different, and I don't see it changing.
And then you're going back to Berlin for the first time, I think, in like 5 or 6 years on Tuesday and Wednesday. How excited are you to be able to race there and get back on a super late?
Yeah, I've run more this year than I have in the past, I don't know how many years. So I'm looking forward to it. We've been working at it. Much like the Cup side, we've just been trying to get a little better and trying to get some momentum on that side of things too. So I'm looking forward to going to Berlin. It's been a little while since I've been there, but I'm looking forward to getting back. Really unique and weird short track. I've run that a few times, but looking forward to getting up there. It's a good show, a good midweek show, a place that seemingly has a lot of support from the local community that I remember. Always great crowds, and they put up a nice purse, too, which in the asphalt world is a really big deal, in my opinion. So I think it's important for the racers to go and support those shows that put up a lot of money to win when they do, because they don't happen all the time. So excited to go and support it and try to get a win.
We're going to go to Jeff and then Lee.
Hey, Chase, how much do you think we should read into the results here this weekend for, a temperature reading for the playoffs in terms of, there's 2 road courses coming up and then Daytona. It's sort of like the last chance in some ways to see what people have. Or is that not fair because this is, not like a Vegas or Homestead in some ways?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it is kind of your last sample set of what would be a normal racetrack, I guess. So it's a very valid question. You look at. I'm just trying to think back to last year. I mean, it seems like all the Gibbs cars are really strong here last year as a whole, and I think at some tracks the characteristics here might carry forward. I'm not so sure that all of them are necessarily that way, but yeah, I would say it's not unfair to say that this is our last kind of normal opportunity to kind of show what you have or don't have. But I do think that this place is very unique and it's kind of its own animal. I mean, you kind of you look at it and you're like, well, maybe it's kind of like Fontana, but it's really not at all like Fontana. I never had a chance to race here at the old surface, so this is really all I've known. But ever since I've been running, this place has always just been kind of its own world. So I do think it is a last normal look, I guess. But at the same time, this place is very, very different. So I wouldn't read too terribly far into it.
Go over to Lee in the far right.
Congratulations on being here this morning. Kyle Busch didn't make it to the drivers' meeting. But anyway, just kind of curious about Watkins Glen. Is that a place you might have circled on your calendar as far as a place where you could, break through or get a win with the success you and Alan have had there in the past?
Yeah, I've said this, but I don't circle races. It's just not how I operate. I just take it week to week and try to get better, and I like I've told you guys 1,000 times, I'll make it 1,001. I just want to be a guy that can go and contend every week and be in the running wherever we go, whether it's a half-mile road course, 2-mile speedway. I don't want to care. I don't want to care where we're going, and that's where I want to get. And I'll keep working really hard until we can achieve that.
Going into turn 1 at Watkins Glen, how dicey is it, and how important is it to get a good entrance into there to set up the entire lap?
I think, it definitely matters. I mean, I think about it more really in terms of a restart, and track position is extremely important. It's really difficult to pass the leader there, especially now. So, it's the game has changed. Used to it was a lot about how good of a launch you got, and now it's about who's pushing you and how good of a push you're going to get. So, pretty dependent upon. You're almost better off having a bad launch and the person behind you getting to you sooner than you are doing a really good job getting a good go at it. So, but that's just the game, that it's turned into.
Do we have any additional questions for Chase? We'll go up here to Larry. Get a mic up to. It's coming to you.
I can hear you.
Larry Leach from the Associated Press. You said this track is very unique in its own world. Can you just describe it to someone who's never done what you guys do?
Yeah, I can try. When I say that, I think I'm more referring to just the, heck, I don't know what year this thing was paid, but it would have had to have been like 2012, 11, somewhere in there. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that'd be around my guess. And whatever asphalt they used, I wish they used it on the roads and the highways around the United States, because it just doesn't seem to age, and it doesn't seem to, to give away a lot of grip. It's changed color a little bit, but it certainly doesn't seem like it has become any more abrasive, or the grip level has gone down any. So for that reason, the middle of the track is still kind of the dominant place on the road. The bottom lane's a little too flat to run at pace for a lengthy period of time, and the middle, just the way the track is shaped, is just kind of the fastest way through, and it has enough banking to make it work. And I think the hope is, and I think it will age eventually, but is to try to keep working it up and have a wider racing groove, with the right amount of banking to to run, and I think that's what they're trying to achieve with the grippy stuff and trying to promote us moving up. So, yeah, it's just the place has a lot of grip, still very fast, and hasn't really seemed to change. So we'll see if it's any different this weekend, but I kind of doubt it.
Anything final for Chase before we let him go? All right, Chase,
Perfect.
thanks for joining us. Good
Thanks,
luck
guys.
this weekend.
Yep.